Supercharger. Hi everybody and welcome to Photo Mike's Garage. Today, not so happy. Looks like my battery is dead. So as you may or may not know, I have a electrical supercharger. Very nice, I like it. But to go with the electric supercharger, you have to change out all your batteries to a whole different battery system. This is where the stock battery would normally go. It takes up this whole space, one big 12-volt battery for your car. You've got to, with the electric supercharger, you've got to remove that and put in 3 batteries, as you will see. 2 smaller batteries connected in series to produce 24 volts. And 1 small Odyssey 12-volt battery to run the car's electronics, the starter, everything else. And that's been working fine. And I'm pretty... Oh! Hello! Okay, why is there a cat on my engine? This could be very dangerous. Billy, go. Go, Billy. Go, go. Okay, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted there. So underneath here is an Odyssey battery, a PC680, and that runs the rest of the car. And I've had the electric supercharger for just over a year, and I think I've got a battery problem. So let's find out. Okay, so you can see how the system works a little bit. This is a battery cover that comes with the electric supercharger kit, and it brings the negative terminal over from where it attaches on the actual battery. And we take the top cover plate off, and you can see all the different batteries. You can see how the 2 batteries are connected in series to produce 24 volts. So there's one 12-volt battery, negative connected to positive here, negative comes out here, positive in here. So there you go, a complete circuit. This produces 24 volts. This goes through the cables, through the controller. Just ignore this decal, that's just to throw people off a little bit. And then finally through the cables to the electric motor that runs the cold side of a regular turbo to produce up to 5 psi with this Phantom electric supercharger. These 2 batteries are separate from the car system. They're not connected to the car system at all. This is the only battery that runs the car's systems. This one is recharged by the alternator. These 2 are also recharged by alternator. Separate circuit. This runs the starter, runs all the electronics, everything in the car. You can see how small this battery is compared to the original giant size battery. And also it only weighs, I believe, 11 to 14 pounds. Anyway, very light. You save a lot of weight. But I think I'm discovering the downside. And not everything is good about what you do when you modify a car. And I've got the electric supercharger. It's giving me more power. I've had this battery for just about a year, and I think it's dead. Let's find out. So I've got my trusty voltmeter connected to negative and now to positive. And the voltage is 11.58 volts, which will not start a car. It won't even turn the motor over. If your battery is showing less than 12.5 volts, you have a potential problem of not starting the car. Most batteries' resting voltage, when the car's not running and it's just disconnected, is around 12.7, 12.6 volts. 12.7 when they're brand new, maybe 12.6, something like that, when they're a little bit older. And that is enough voltage to start your car after sitting for a night, no problem. This Odyssey battery is toast. Now the thing about this battery is that it works with this combination. It fits in the package tray, so it'll do the electric supercharger, run the car, but it's being used beyond its recommended. This is not a battery that's recommended to run a car this size. It will do it, but it will work a lot harder, and it's probably sulfated inside. It's been used hard. I do a lot of stop and go traveling. Yeah, the battery didn't last. And you would expect a battery to last 3-4 years. My original battery, which I still have for this car, is still holding a charge. But this Odyssey is not. This Odyssey in Canada cost me $190. That's over $200 with tax. That makes this a fairly expensive battery. And if it only lasts 1 year while operating my electric supercharger, then of course that's an expense they have to figure into the cost of the electric supercharger. Something I hadn't thought about. I thought it would last at least 3 or 4 years. I was wrong. So I've had to buy a new battery, and I'm going to install that, and that will take care of my problems. Okay, out with the old battery. Why am I groaning? That's not heavy. The good thing about Odyssey batteries, nice and light. See? One-handed battery removal. Old, bad battery. New, good battery. And in with the new. Before I hook it up all the way, I'll check the voltage on the new battery to make sure it's within required specifications. 12.69. There you go. That's a brand new battery. That's what you like to see. I almost put this battery in the wrong way. Positive should be over here, negative over here. That could be a serious mistake. Don't do that. And for all you guys and girls who are installing an electric supercharger for your first time, one of the lucky few, this is what the battery setup looks like. You've got your battery for the electric supercharger, 2 of them, negative, positive, connected with a copper tab, negative here, positive here, and then the Odyssey battery for the rest of the car goes on this side. First thing you do, put in the cover spacer, which is a nice plastic. And then you put in the cover plate. It goes over the whole arrangement there. Let's see if you can see that. Cover plate goes over that. Then you have the cover plate with the negative cable attached already. Negative cable goes through the cover plate. Has a terminal ready for your connections there, and a connection that will go to the negative terminal of the Odyssey battery right there. And it's got little brackets on the end just to keep it in place on top of your battery. And so that goes like that. So your negative terminal is going to go on here. That goes through here to your negative terminal of the Odyssey battery. Positive terminal of your Odyssey battery, and there's your positive clamp for the rest of the car. Negative terminal attached and tightened. Then you install your battery holder. I've almost got everything tightened up. The battery holder clamp is tightened and installed. Negative terminal tight over here, and the factory terminal on here tight. The final thing to put on is the positive terminal, which I've almost got tightened up. Important to note, as you tighten this up, make sure you don't hit any metal parts like this, or else you get giant sparks, which just happened to me. So try and be careful not to touch anything else metal as you tighten the positive terminal. Everything is installed. Let's see if she fires up. Oh, let's hear that exhaust note. That's my cold start exhaust sound. Gets a little quieter now, but when you got to go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, that's could be a little annoying for the neighbors. And that's with a stock exhaust, except for I've got headers and I've got a aftermarket overpipe from DC Sport Racing. But otherwise, the rest of the muffler and everything else is stock, so it's still pretty loud in the morning. I'm not sure if I want to get an aftermarket exhaust or not. Okay, so here's my voltage switch for the electric supercharger, 28.2 volts. That will go up a bit to 28.6 volts at max. And that's the juice that makes it go. Okay, one more voltage check with the engine running. This is to check to make sure it's being charged by the alternator. Voltmeter is connected and we have a little over 14 volts. That means that it is being charged by the alternator. That's a good sign. Now, right after you turn the car off, the voltage in the battery will be about a little over 13 volts. But as you can see, that's going to start going down and should go down to a resting voltage of around 12.7, around there, and stay there for most of the night. Now, there are electronics in cars that stay on during the night, your ECU and everything else, alarm systems. So there is a slight drain during the night, but not enough to hurt a healthy battery, and you can usually start in the morning. Now that I've got my Odyssey all installed, I should be fine for at least another year. So it looks like if you have an electric supercharger, a phantom electric supercharger, you're going to be going through batteries a little bit more regularly than you would expect. This is a maintenance cost of the electric supercharger. It's a real world cost, and it's something you have to put up with. Is it worth it? I think the electric supercharger is still worth it, even with this extra cost. And if you can get one, I think you should go for it. And if you have any more questions about the electric supercharger, just let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.